When I was a little boy growing up, I held American institutions in very high esteem. I thought the FBI were the good guys. I thought the Boy Scouts were a wholesome organization. I thought the Catholic Church was pristine. But as I entered adulthood, year after year, it began to dawn on me that nothing is sacred anymore. The people and the places I revered let me down. It doesn't make me cynical. It makes me a realist. Now, I'm not out to tear down American institutions. That's the last thing I want. These institutions are tearing themselves down. Hollywood turned out to be not so glamorous. The Secret Service, I respect the guys, but the leadership, not anymore. Don't even get me started on the NFL. But one of the places you aspire to be admitted into as a young American is Harvard University, the pinnacle of the Ivy League. Sorry, Yale. I always assumed that it took the finest academic pedigree to be employed there. You had to have the most diligent scholarship, the best and the brightest, they said, until I visited for the factor. Can you name one Obama administration scandal? Go.
There are none.
Can you name one Obama administration scandal?
Obamacare.
Now, you always knew Harvard was a little liberal, as most universities are. That's baked into the cake. But if the students were sharp, the professors must be brilliant. And then Harvard hired Bill de Blasio. And then Harvard hired Brian Stelter. And then Harvard hired Lori Lightfoot. It became a rehab clinic for failed progressives. Surely, the president of Harvard University has to be the most highly accredited individual in higher ed. Once again, I was disappointed.
Based upon your testimony, you understand that this call for intifada is to commit genocide against the Jewish people in Israel and globally, correct?
I will say again, that type of hateful speech is personally abhorrent to me.
Do you believe that type of hateful speech is contrary to Harvard's code of conduct, or is it allowed at Harvard?
It is at odds with the values of Harvard.
Can you not say here that it is against the code of conduct at Harvard?
We embrace a commitment to free expression, even of views that are objectionable.
What action has been taken against students who are harassing and calling for the genocide of Jews on Harvard's campus?
I can assure you we have robust
What actions have been taken? I'm not asking.
Actions underway.
I'm asking what actions have been taken against those students.
Given students' rights to privacy and our obligations under FERPA, I will not say more about any specific cases.
Could the president of Harvard University be an idiot? How dumb is this woman, I thought to myself. How do you fumble a question like that? We found out why. Gay's a fraud. New investigations have uncovered that Gay is a serial plagiarist. 30 instances of plagiarism have been uncovered. Her PhD dissertation was plagiarized. The school paper, the Harvard Crimson, did their own investigation and found that Gay's plagiarism violated the school's honor code policies. Here are just a few examples from Gay's Harvard dissertation where she lifted major sections from other authors. As you can see, these aren't just a few stray words here and there, or a sentence or two where she forgot to properly list a source. One of the scholars Gay plagiarized is Carol Swain, another prominent female African-American academic who actually helped pave the way for women like Gay.
She has me listed in her bibliography, but she doesn't engage the work. She doesn't acknowledge that her work is derivative of my work. She doesn't even mention my work in the literature review. And to me, that was more serious because it looks like she came up with the idea, or this is her work. I see a woman whose work would not have warranted tenure in the Ivy League, even if it wasn't plagiarized.
Gay didn't plagiarize by accident. She's a thief. She steals people's ideas and passes them off as her own. And Harvard's letting her get away with it. But Harvard isn't letting its students get away with it. In 2012, Harvard was rocked by a massive cheating scandal. Nearly 2% of the entire undergrad student body was investigated for cheating and plagiarism. And in the end, over half of the students investigated were forced to resign from the university.
Harvard University has produced some of the most well-respected world leaders and trailblazers. But now that pristine reputation in danger of being tarnished. All because of a cheating scandal the university admits is unprecedented in the school's modern history.
Just 2 years ago, nearly 30 students were forced to withdraw from violating the academic honor code. Harvard's honor code's clear. Plagiarizing violates the standards of our community, as well as the standards of the wider world of learning and affairs. Now, if I were on the board of trustees at Harvard, it's a no-brainer. Gay's got to go. Plagiarism is one of the highest academic crimes there is. In the private sector, it's like corporate espionage. It's what China commits, intellectual property theft. It's a serious academic felony that can't be tolerated, or it completely spoils the sanctity of academia. We might as well have robots write our papers and shoot our student athletes with steroids and claim we're all Indian like Liz Warren. But Harvard has decided to let the fraud keep her job. Apparently, the Harvard board knew about the plagiarism months ago, and they sat on it until Gay bombed at the hearing. So they investigated her, found out she plagiarized, but decided to spin the violations as inadequate citations. Kind of like CNN says, it's not looting, it's shopping without money. Harvard hired its first black president this year, but it turns out she's a massive plagiarist and thinks screaming "kill the Jews" is fine. Harvard doesn't have the backbone to admit they screwed up, so they're keeping her. Not only are they keeping her, Harvard put out a statement today praising her. Is Harvard holding Gay to the same standard it's held its past presidents to over the last 400 years? It's not even holding Gay to the same standards it holds its students to. The media, who went through years of schooling in which they were told plagiarism is an academic high crime and misdemeanor, are sticking up for Gay too. The Washington Post says Ivy League graduates constitute only a fraction of the population, certainly far less than you might have assumed given how much attention those schools receive. The Post says Ivy League graduates only make up 0.2% of the population, therefore we shouldn't care. But the media never cared more about so few people. 0.3% of the population died from COVID, and we shut the whole country down. 0.1% of the population's trans, and we've turned society upside down for them. 0.1% of the population's changing the English language, what bathrooms we use, how we play sports. And just as Harvard graduates have an outsized influence on American institutions, becoming U.S. presidents, becoming Supreme Court justices, business leaders, affecting how millions of us live, you're damn right we're going to scrutinize Harvard. You're damn right we're going to disqualify anybody who commits academic identity theft. Joe Biden was forced to end his 1898 presidential campaign because he was caught plagiarizing.
It cannot measure the health of our children, the quality of our education, the joy of their play.
The gross national product does not allow for the health of our children, the quality of their education, or the joy of their play.
Our generation of Americans will pay any price, bear any burden, accept any challenge, and meet any hardship.
We shall pay any price, bear any burden, meet any hardship.
Joe Biden got caught plagiarizing. He's a fraud, always has been. But the American body politic decided it was okay and eventually elected him president. And look how that turned out. When someone plagiarizes, they're confessing they don't have any original ideas. They're admitting they're unqualified. They're telling us they lack integrity when they steal someone else's work and pawn it off as their own. And it also shows they're straight up lazy because they won't put in the work to reflect and think for themselves. People used to be held accountable for this, not anymore. And look at this country. It's a mess. Are you surprised? Words don't mean anything anymore. I can be a woman. I can be a she-wolf. Ow. The border is secure. There's no evidence linking Joe Biden to Hunter. The riots were mostly peaceful. We've desecrated the English language so everyone feels okay. But what about the people we're stealing from? How do they feel? Well, you can steal from oppressors. It's justified. America was founded on the principles that all men are created equal. But America is returning to a European class system. There's an identity politics aristocracy. It's bordering on the caste system in India, where depending on what you look like and how you were born, you're stuck in that station for life. Doesn't matter what you do anymore, it's who does what.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.